San Diego Comic-Con 2024 is officially over and done with.
So that means New York Comic-Con 2024 is on the way.
I'm DK Wrestler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And in today's video, we're going to be making our Funko Pop and soda figure predictions for New York Comic-Con 2024.
So let's check it out.
And so for today's video, like every predictions video that we do, we are going to be doing 10 predictions for 10 different categories, which we will list them as we are making our predictions. So the first category for this video is the ad icons, and I predicted a pop of Poppy the Porcupine from Corn Pops. Now recently, Funko have been doing retro ad icon pops, especially recently up for pre-order now is the Cocoa Krispies elephant. And so in recent years, we have seen the retro ad icons be made into pops like the Tony the Tiger. We've seen Smaxy the Seal for FunCon. So I feel like maybe they're gonna follow the trend this time around, especially with Corn Pops, where we did see two pops previously with Sugar Pops Pete, and especially the big yellow pop that was a Funko Shop exclusive. But regardless if this happens or not, hopefully this ends up being better than the ad icons we got for San Diego Comic-Con.
I thought of a brand new Ronald McDonald pop, and that is Ronald McDonald on the bench. And of course, we don't see this anymore in McDonald's, but back from, I would assume, like in the 80s, all the way up into the early 2000s, we would see benches at McDonald's where there'd be a statue of Ronald McDonald kind of with his arm around the bench as well as like his leg kind of crossed over. I do think this would be a great idea and just a really awesome piece for the shelf to display in box or even out of box.
The next category is animation, and I predicted a pop of the Fry Cook Games SpongeBob for SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, surprisingly enough, for the other two cons of C2E2 and San Diego Comic-Con, we have not gotten a SpongeBob SquarePants pop, especially this year being the 25th anniversary. And so already this year, we did have a big wave with commons and exclusives, and we did see a common Fry Cook Games Patrick in that set. However, we did not get the SpongeBob version as terms to a regular exclusive, so it makes me think that they're going to be saving it here for New York Comic-Con.
I had a ton of ideas, but ultimately I went with a new Yu-Gi-Oh pop, and the Yu-Gi-Oh character that I ended up going with is the Flame Swordsman. I've been wanting this character in pop form for so long, so I hope we finally get it. The Flame Swordsman is one of those like OG duel monsters that I think everyone kind of wants to see.
The next category is the Disney lineup, which I predicted a pop of Syndrome from The Incredibles. Now at San Diego Comic-Con, we had gotten a new Edna mode for The Incredibles, which makes sense since this year is the 20th anniversary of the Incredibles movie. And with Syndrome, I feel like there could be different ways for this to be pulled off. First off, isn't even a Funko Pop, but they could actually pull this off as a Funko Soda, where perhaps it's Syndrome in the suit for the common and possibly Incrediboy as the chase. Or they can just do kind of what they did with the Edna mode, is kind of copy the OG version but make it with 2024 standards and a different posing. Or a very likely scenario that they could do here is make it as a Pop Classics, considering that the lineup has continued and we've seen Wally and Darth Vader earlier this year as Funko Shop exclusives, and we have seen Pop Classics pops as Comic-Con exclusives in the past, so this could be a way that we get Syndrome as a pop again.
I ended up going with a 2-pack from Elemental, that being Ember and Wade. I think that this is an easy way to kind of just get a 2-pack in your collection, and then Funko doesn't really have to worry about doing a ton of other characters. Maybe down the road they want to do more Comic-Con exclusives to add a couple more characters to the set, but realistically, just that 2-pack is all they need to make.
Next category is the games lineup, and I predicted a pop of a 10-inch Dialga for Pokemon. Now, Dialga's name has been brought up a lot of times as terms to previous Funko Pop leaks, and for so long it hasn't happened, but I feel like maybe now is the time that it actually happens for New York Comic-Con, especially for C2E2, where we did get the 10-inch Cresselia, and for San Diego Comic-Con, we had gotten the 10-inch Arceus, which both of those pops are actually Gen 4 Pokemon, in which Dialga is also a Gen 4 Pokemon.
I kind of went the same route that DK went, but I did not choose Dialga. The Pokemon that I actually chose is Giratina. I think that it would be really cool to get this Pokemon in a 10-inch form. This is a huge Pokemon, just like Dialga is.
The next category category is Marvel and DC, and the pop I chose is a Wade Wilson for Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, of course, as San Diego Comic-Con was happening, Deadpool and Wolverine had released in theaters. And even though that there are a couple of common waves already, I feel that there definitely will be more Deadpool and Wolverine pops, especially for Comic-Con exclusives, and the fact that the movie did release during San Diego Comic-Con weekend is probably the reason why we didn't get exclusives for that movie during that convention.
Me and DK kind of went down the same route with this one as well, but I went with a 2-pack. I went with Deadpool and Wolverine, both in a 2-pack. I think that it makes sense for Comic-Con where you can actually get both of these characters in a 2-pack. Besides that though, I don't want to see Funko making different 2-packs of Deadpool and Wolverine. I think this should be the only way that you're able to actually get them both in one box.
The next category is movies, and the pop I chose is a new Invisible Man for Universal Monsters. Now, recently released is a new set of Universal Monsters pops where they basically have that retro comic book sketching design, kind of like what we've seen recently with the Phantom Menace Star Wars pops. And so they've already done Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, and the creature from the Black Lagoon, I guess now known as Gillman, plus a Funko Shop exclusive Wolfman that's supposed to be coming out very soon. So I feel like to go along with that and the fact that New York Comic Con is close to Halloween, that we could see a pop for Universal Monsters in this way.
I specifically went 90s. I want to see a new character from a 90s movie, and that is the 1994 Little Rascals, and of course, it's Elf Alpha. That would be an amazing character to see in Funko Pop form with his little cowlick at the top. I think that would be hilarious. Such a great pop and such an iconic character as well that I think it would probably sell very, very well because realistically, there's like no Little Rascals products out there at all. So Funko needs to get on top of it.
The next category is retro toys, and what I went with is a Lights and Sounds pop of Megatron from Transformers. This year, we did have the new set of Transformers pops for the retro toys lineup as a part of the 40th anniversary. But about a year or two ago, we did get the Lights and Sounds Optimus Prime pop for the Funko Shop that actually sold pretty well, and I feel like maybe this time around that they would actually do Megatron.
Mr. Bucket. I think that this would be hilarious and awesome. I think that the way that they could do this pop would be so cool. They could have like the look of like the balls flying out of the head, or they could just have Mr. Bucket doing his own thing, but either way, a Mr. Bucket pop would be really cool, and I would definitely add it to my retro toys.
The next category is Star Wars, and the pop I went with is of course Asajj Ventress from the Clone Wars. Now, one big reason that I actually went with this is because of the new set of Star Wars Dark Side pops, where we have the new Darth Maul, Count Dooku, the Revenge of the Sith Palpatine that we've been waiting so long for as a standalone pop. So I feel like to spice up that lineup of already existing characters in pop form is to add a pop that has never had one before in the form of Asajj Ventress, and I think this would definitely sell well since people have been clamoring for an Asajj Ventress pop for such a long time.
I ended up going with a pretty much brand new character, if I'm not mistaken, and that is of Kay Vess, I believe is the way that her name is pronounced. This is the main character, I believe, for the new Star Wars Outlaws game that I believe is not even out yet, but I think this would be a really good way to introduce her into the Star Wars universe. You get some product out of her, which would be really, really cool, and I believe she also does have like this little creature character that kind of runs around with her or is always by her side, so I think it would be a good idea to make this a pop and buddy with that character as well.
The next category is the television lineup, and this is a pop that I kind of alluded to in our San Diego Comic-Con podcast, and that is a Werewolf Enid for the Netflix series Wednesday. Now, we've already seen a couple of Enid pops, one being a Funko Shop exclusive, and of course the moments that released for San Diego Comic-Con alongside Wednesday. But I think to also fit the whole Halloween theme that's close to New York Comic-Con is that we finally get the werewolf version of Enid, and if you're wondering, yes, I would imagine this pop would have to be a flocked version.
There's so many TV shows, it's so hard to pick, but Young Sheldon. I'm shocked that there are no Young Sheldon pops out there. There's so many different Big Bang Theory pops, so it makes sense that they should do a Young Sheldon Funko Pop, or at least like maybe a wave or something like that. Especially with the TV show, I believe, coming to an end with the latest season that just came out.
And then the final category we have is Miscellaneous, and what I went with is my first and only Funko soda figure on this list, and I went with a Pilot Freddy Funko. Now, as you guys probably see on your screen right now, I am using a concept from Chase Chaser, and then basically a version without its jacket, I believe, with sunglasses as terms to the chase, but I went with a different approach to this. I have the Freddy Funko as the common, but then the chase figure is the First Officer Proto, where basically you have one character as the common and then one character as the chase. And I think even if you make it a limited piece count of, let's say, 5,000 or maybe even 3,000 pieces, this will definitely sell because the piece count for the chase figure would be ridiculously low, and you have two different characters for this soda.
My prediction is right. I would be so happy about it because this is a pop that I really, really want for my own collection. A pop albums of Creed's Weathered. I think that would be so cool. That album is just really good. A great album. The art on that album is kind of funky as well. So I think a pop albums for that would look really, really cool.
Anyways, guys, that's gonna be the end of today's video, and if you enjoyed today's New York Comic Con 2024 Funko Pop and soda figure predictions, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below your predictions for this convention, and hope to see you guys in the next video. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Peace in, peace out.